A tropical depression could form in the next 24 hours, but probably not where you would expect. Your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas starts right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi friends, Rusty back here at Meteo Mundo. We're your home for Caribbean weather, and it's great to see you on a Friday. I hope you're doing well. Coming up in this video, we have some new information, an area of potential tropical development here as we get into the early part of the weekend. I'll show you where. We'll look at the areas that continue to be plagued by flooding rains. I've got your island by island forecast, and there's still that area next week with potential tropical development as well. A lot to get into. Let's get started. As always, Meteo Mundo, sponsored by the Lean Law Firm of Central Florida, your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys. They offer free consultation and policy reviews. Anything that could influence you or your property, they'll walk you through every step of the insurance claim process. Go to leanonmelaw.com if you would like more information. As always, I'd love to hear from the Meteo Mundo weather community. Let me know in the comment section below where you're viewing from, what the weather has been like. Now, we've been talking about the Southwest Caribbean for potential tropical development next week, but we are now looking at portions of the northern Gulf of Mexico for a quick spin up as a possibility into early on Saturday. We have this expansive area and this broad mid-level circulation in the north central Gulf of Mexico. We're going to get showers and storms that are going to slam into the Yucatan. They're going to get into Cuba. They'll eventually get into the Bahamas as well. But in the shorter term, we're beginning to see that mid-level rotation trying to kind of work its way down to the lower levels. That's what it looks like on the enhanced satellite imagery. This is what it looks like on the visible satellite imagery. If you look back here, you can see that curly Q spin. Now, again, there's very little time for this to tropically develop it. But the reason why I'm mentioning it is that there is model support for a weak tropical depression to try and form, right? As this pushes north and east over Louisiana and portions of Mississippi and Alabama. But if it's going to do it, it's going to have to do it in a very hurried fashion. Let me throw on the radar for you here as well. And again, on the northeast side of this, just a heck of a lot of rain. Now, you can see that twist kind of leaving the mid-level circulation behind. And again, regardless, it's going to be a ton of rain for the areas that I've already mentioned, and that will continue to work its way off towards the east as we go through the remainder of Friday and into the weekend. It's going to be very wet and stormy for the southeast and into the Bahamas. But in the shorter term, again, the chance is low, but it's not zero. And let me show you why. It's not the GFS model that's trying to develop a low-level center of circulation. A lot of you guys think, the GFS goes out to lunch with this quick tropical development. It's the European model. Between now and Saturday morning, it tried to develop a low-level closed center of circulation with a pressure low enough to support a tropical depression right over coastal Mississippi and Alabama into Saturday morning, and then drives it inland. That is the deterministic, right, of the model run from this morning. This is the ensemble product. So these are all of the different perturbations of the European model, and it's not just a couple of the ensemble members that develop a low-level center. It's a lot of them that actually develops this. So it ramped up in a hurry. It's really the only model that's trying to show this, but that is a possibility. Again, it's not a big chance. And what would it do? It would probably bring a little bit more in the way of some heavy rain along the coast, maybe a little bit more beach erosion near wherever that broad center forms. But appreciably, the big story will continue to be the opportunity for some really heavy rain and storms across this area. And more than likely, that's going to continue for the coming days with the opportunity for some severe storms for you guys as well. So I wanted to highlight that to begin the video because, again, this is going to bring storms to the Yucatan and to Cuba and eventually to the Bahamas as well. All right, let's get back a little bit closer to home, if you will, and talk about what's been happening in our area. I'm going to switch back over right now to the visible satellite imagery here. So let me bring that back on. And I want to get into the areas that continue to have flooding rains. And we're going to start off in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. We still have this persistent trough that's in play right now. You can see those storms developing. This is what it looks like on the enhanced satellite imagery. Look at the storms from Arecibo towards the Uti Alto areas. As a matter of fact, we do have a new flash flood warning that just went into effect in those areas. So let me bring that up. You'll see that in green, and then I'm going to switch over to the radar here out of Puerto Rico, drop off the satellite data for a second, and look at the pockets of heavy rain developing. So flash flood warnings, Arecibo area towards Uti Alto. Again, 2, 3, 4+ inches of rain in one day continues to fall in portions of Puerto Rico. It's not going to be everyone, but that opportunity is there. We already have saturated soils, elevated river and streams, elevated waters and low-lying areas, and this is going to continue to be a problem. So if you live in those areas, please be very cautious of the flowing water. Make sure you stay away from the low-lying areas. Don't drive into flooded roads. Please be very cautious. Additional showers and storms are likely to develop and kind of push to the east the remainder of the day in generally the interior sections of Puerto Rico, where again, several inches of rain are possible the remainder of this Friday. We'll continue to see some scattered showers and the opportunity for some rain in portions of the Virgin Islands as well. Again, it may not be as concentrated here. Go back over to the visible satellite imagery, but the opportunity will be there to continue to get some heavier downpours. We had that earlier this morning in St. Croix. We've seen some of that drift over places like Vieques and Culebra, St. Thomas, St. John, Tortola, and it got a little bit drier so far. But again, passing showers will continue to be a possibility. Let's go off towards the east. Scattered rain continues across the Lesser Antilles in general for our friends in the Leeward Islands. Again, fast moving showers here, low level winds from east to west. Let me bring on our current temperatures for you right now. It hasn't been a horrible day temperature wise, but again, if you dry out a little bit, you're going to get a little bit hotter, but it's clear to see just how cool it has been in Puerto Rico because of some of the rain in the clouds relative to some of the other areas. Started to see some showers trying to develop over Guadalupe and Dominica, but pretty hot today in Dominica, up to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 32 degrees Celsius. Scattered rain and a bit of haze in the atmosphere right now from Martinique South, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago as well. Moisture off towards our south. We're going to try and pull that in, trying to get a couple of showers over the Tobago area right now. Notice the temperature there has dropped, so some passing rain. And overall, the Windward Islands rain chances going up a bit over the weekend. A couple of showers trying to get towards Nueva Esparta. We're going to be still relatively dry in the ABC Islands, Curacao today, all the way up to 90 degrees. Let's go back over to the Dominican Republic here. This is an area that has been flood prone the last week. We're beginning to dry out a bit. There are no, at least currently, no flash flood warnings that are in effect. That doesn't mean that we won't get pockets of heavy rain again, and we could see those hoisted later Friday or over the weekend, but we're trying to dry out some. Now, we're trying to get a few storms across the peninsula of Haiti from Lacaille off towards the east, southern sides of coastal DR towards Santo Domingo and Punta Cana. But again, even the northeast coastline, the Samana Peninsula could get back into some storms for today. But generally speaking, I just don't expect them to be as widespread. It'll be the same situation over Cuba and Jamaica. Again, we're developing some cloud coverage on this Friday afternoon. This will spell a few showers and storms. They're not going to be as widespread, but central and northern sides might have a little bit better opportunity for today. Kingston's temperatures dropped a little bit, if nothing else, some clouds, maybe a few showers around Port Moore and Spanish Town, but it is going to be pretty spotty, not only on this Friday, but for the remainder of the weekend as well. Daytime highs should be able to punch to near 90 degrees Celsius in a lot of southern areas, or around 31, 32 degrees Celsius, 30. If I said that backwards, I apologize. 90 degrees Fahrenheit, 32 degrees Celsius. Cayman Islands have still been mainly dry, trying to get a little bit more moisture in play. Obviously, this is the big story that'll be moving into places like Campeche, Merida, and eventually towards Cancun and Cozumel. It's going to get wet. It's going to get stormy for the Yucatan. I'll throw on the enhanced satellite imagery, and you can really see again a lot of energy coming out of the western Gulf of Mexico that will drive through the Yucatan and eventually get towards Belize and Guatemala, where San Ignacio should probably go over 100 degrees Fahrenheit again for today. San Pedro Sula's in at 99. It's been hot in these areas, but plenty of moisture coming in to spell a lot better rain chance starting tomorrow. It continues to be wet across Panama and Costa Rica. Daily showers and storms continue to develop there. Up towards the Bahamas, again, we're dry across the area. Lovely day, Freeport, Lucaya areas of Grand Bahama, Nassau, New Providence. Let's take a look at our water vapor imagery here. And again, nice dry air in place. Eventually, this will be replaced by more moisture-laden air that will eventually break down this ridge and bring us a better chance for some showers and storms. Let's get into the forecast, friends. As we do so, thank you so much for taking a quick second, liking the video. Thank you for subscribing to Meteo Mundo. Appreciate you sharing this with your family and friends. Thanks for those who are members and those who have found other ways to support us here as well. Really do appreciate that. So again, interesting. Low end chance of a tropical depression, north central Gulf of Mexico between now and Saturday morning. It's going to have to happen in a hurry. Otherwise, again, we'll talk more in a minute about what could be happening in the Southwest Caribbean next week. But let's get into the rain forecast for the weekend ahead. So I'm going to bring up the model here and let's see. Perfect. So let's loop this up. So again, the GFS model, I just want to highlight this again, is not as robust with this system. The HER model, the high resolution rapid refresh, looks a little bit closer to the European, but neither really developed the true low level center like the European model does. Regardless, wet, stormy, severe weather, southeast United States, which will eventually pull rain and storms into the northwest Bahamas. Probably developing Monday and then a better chance into Tuesday. So we'll talk about that over the next few days. But if you live in places like Grand Bahama and Walker's Key and the Abacos and Bimini and Nassau and Andros and Eleuthera, rain chances should begin to ramp up early next week, where will be more isolated rain in the central and the southeast Bahamas. Rain chances should improve for places like Havana as that system pulls out of the Gulf of Mexico. I'm much more robust on our rain chances here in the Yucatan, in the northern sides of Central America. Look how wet it's going to be. It's been a while. It's been a spell since we've really had some heavy rain in places like Cancun and Cozumel. But for our Saturday, showers and storms developing and then into early on Sunday as well. So kind of late tomorrow into early on Sunday, Cancun, Cozumel, Tulum, towards Chetumal. Hey, if we want a little bit of rain to cool things off in places like San Ignacio, we're going to have that opportunity. Pretty good moisture plume coming in with this. So showers and storms developing late tomorrow. A good chance again on Sunday, maybe a little bit more scattered on Monday, but still that chance will be there. Same thing for the Bay Islands, Utila, Roatan, Guanaja, northern coastline of Honduras, La Ceiba, San Pedro Sula, all with much better rain chances coming our way. You can see that moisture driving in. Now, the interesting thing is my friends in the Cayman Islands might be like, okay, here we go. Here comes our rain chance. It's going to be close. I'm not sure the thickest, richest moisture gets over the area. I think the rain chance improves a bit, but it's not going to shock me if over the next few days our friends who live in the Cayman Islands say, Rusty, we didn't really get anything. Maybe a brief passing shower. I hope you guys get some downpours. I know you need it. Rain chances will continue to improve. Across coastal Nicaragua, it's still going to be wet. Panama, Costa Rica. Again, this is just over the next 3 days. This is not the potential tropical development, but it's the beginning of getting some of that richer moisture back into play, and we'll pick up the model for next week coming up here after we look at our island by island rainfall forecast. As I mentioned for Jamaica, the rain chances are going to be lower. It's just as simple as that. About a 20% chance for some passing showers over the weekend and into Monday, but many dry hours and locations. It'll be slightly drier in general over Haiti and the Dominican Republic, but there will still be pockets of heavy rain, which is why I don't want to just say we're completely done with any flood issues here. We are certainly getting better, and it's improving to not have any additional flooding, but it's not a completely non-zero chance that we don't get pockets of heavy rain in areas that got hit hard the last week and we get additional flooding over the weekend. So let's monitor that situation. But at this point in time, things have been improving. I hope we dry out a bit over Puerto Rico. Again, this persistent trough has been such a nuisance and such heavy rain. It is area dependent. Some of our friends in the comments have said there's been flooding in their area. It's been a big problem. Others have said we haven't actually had that much rain. So it has been, specific portions of the islands, including the Virgin Islands as well. But the opportunity to continue to see 2 to 4 inches or 50 to 100 millimeters of rain each day, at least through tomorrow, is likely, and then drying out a bit beginning on Sunday. I think we'll be drier overall in the Lesser Antilles as far as heavy rain goes, but still some fast-moving showers for Anguilla, St. Bart, St. Martin, Antigua Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, Montserrat, St. Eustatius. 50-60% chance for rain the next few days. But again, I'm not changing any plans here. Sea conditions will be somewhat elevated as well, so keep that in mind. Guadeloupe, Dominique, and Martinique, pretty good rain chances over the next few days. Scattered rain for the Windward Islands, St. Lucia down to the St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, and Barbados. Now, slightly higher chance on Monday. You can see that at the end of the model run here. And then for Trinidad and Tobago, we might pull in a little bit more rain. We've had, better rain chances here the last couple days in some spots of the islands, and I kind of expect that to continue as well. Nueva Esparta will see a few passing showers. Unfortunately, the ABC Islands, not a lot of rain in the forecast. My friends there have talked about how dry it's been. We've had Decent rain in a couple of spots, but it hasn't been widespread, and I don't expect that to change, at least in the short term. So here is your island by island rainfall forecast. Again, building chances in the northwest Bahamas, but should even be higher than this beginning on Tuesday. Still very isolated central and southeast Bahamas and my friends in Turks and Caicos. For Cuba, better rain chances late tomorrow, Sunday, Monday, central western side of the island. Cayman Island, again, I bumped you up to a 30 on Sunday and Monday, but you're right on the edge of the heavier rain chance where places like Belize City and Cancun and Cozumel will get it. So for tomorrow, we'll have a 30% chance for storms in Belize City, but bump it up to a 60% chance on Sunday and Monday. And a little bit farther inland in Belize, you might have a little bit higher chance even for tomorrow. Cancun and Cozumel, wet, stormy Saturday ahead, still scattered showers on Sunday, drier air begins to move in on Monday. Not a ton of rain over the next 3 days in Jamaica. Still a 70% chance for rain in the Dominican Republic tomorrow. We'll break it apart a bit on Sunday and Monday. Again, pockets of heavy rain and flooding could still exist. Puerto Rico's rain chance tomorrow is 80%. Again, still concerned about interior locations and areas of flooding there. 50% chance Sunday, 40 on Monday. Healthy rain chances in the U.S. and British Virgin Islands. Passing showers in Bermuda, best chance on Sunday. Anguilla, 50% chance the next couple of days. St. Kitts and Nevis has a 60% chance tomorrow. Will fall to a 40% chance on Monday there. Stay again in that 50 to 60% chance range for Antigua, Barbuda, Montserrat. Next few days, same thing for Guadalupe and Dominica, falling a bit on Monday, but still, relatively high. Martinique, a 40 to a 50% chance. 30 to 40s I've got for St. Vincent, St. Lucia, and the Grenadines as well. Barbados, again, not a lot of rain. Fast-moving showers there, slightly better chance on Monday. Decent rain chances, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago. Solid rain chance for Suriname and Guyana. And again, low-end chances for places like Nueva Esparta and the ABC Islands. For you boaters, again, we're going to have a little bit more stronger winds coming back into the Lesser Antilles as we push early into the week. This is still the area to monitor in the southwest side of the Caribbean into mid next week, right? For a push of big wind, but maybe a little bit of a spin. Do you see that, by the way? GFS model, this is what this is based off of. Look towards the end of this. Could we have in the Pacific, Alvin, the first name storm there? Watch this blow up here. Just on the wave heights, you can see that spin. There's just more activity that the models are trying to ultimately develop. So let's get back out and talk about the southwest side of the Caribbean for next week. I'm going to go back over to the model, and I'm just going to take this out. Today is the 9th. Let's go out a week. Again, we're not going to get crazy. We're not going to go out 2.5 weeks and pinpoint at the end of that, oh my goodness, take a look at that. But obviously, this is an area that I've been monitoring, right? And this is going to be a huge area of spin in the Eastern Pacific and the Southwest Caribbean. You still have your Colombian low and you have your monsoon trough. And all of this is going to aid in potentially seeing the first named storm in the Pacific or potential development even into the Southwest Caribbean, right? Now, regardless of any development that tries to get going, there's going to be a heck of a lot of rain here that develops and then actually gets pushed off to the north and to the east. So in the coming week, watch how this moisture feed gets sucked up and gets pulled all the way back east. Now we'll talk more about this coming up. This is a full week away. But regardless of actual development in the Southwest Caribbean, the amount of moisture that it's going to spin back into our area could be extraordinary. Could be a lot of rain coming for areas by this time next week. But near the coastline of Costa Rica, there's an opportunity that we could have a bit of a spin. If I look at the low-level winds for you guys here, bring that up. So again, these are surface-based winds, true surface-based winds, right? What could we see as a spin at the surface? The first thing I want to highlight is this huge wind push from east to west in the Southern Caribbean coming. ABC Islands, Nueva Esparta, eventually the Southwest Caribbean, 30, 35 mile an hour winds are coming next week. It's going to be a heck of a lot of wind there, right? Now, as this probably is going to take its sweet time to load up, to be quite honest, but hopefully not take too long. We'll start to see again here a little bit more of a low-level spin trying to develop, and still a lot of fresh winds in the Southwest Caribbean as well, all right? Now, does this look like a high-end chance at this point in time in the Southwest Caribbean? It doesn't. You can clearly see there's a little bit right there at the end. Right there, right? And then you have your broader span, which might tighten up even a little bit more beyond this week. Don't want to go too far out in time. We don't need to do that, especially with a system that, in May, to have to worry about. But again, regardless of development, the amount of moisture that this could bring to our area could really change the game next week. Now, over just the next 5 days, still some of these areas could be getting loads of rain. Let me bring up, again, we can query some of these areas, maybe just offshore, over 8 inches of rain towards Panama, but you get the idea. It's wet there. We're changing our tune in Belize. Again, several inches of rain likely here in the coming days. Roatan, Utila, Guanaja, probably 2.5 inches of rain. Solid stuff. Cancun, Cozumel, near those areas, a lot of rain. You see that isolated 4-inch spot or so? It's a possibility. There's a lot of rain here in the Yucatan, and even on the coastline of Honduras and Nicaragua, 4 to 5. As I mentioned for the Cayman Islands, probably not a ton. Even Jamaica, again, not as much rain over the next few days. It's going to be hot. It's going to be mainly dry. Not as much rain here. Still pockets of heavier rain possible in the Dominican Republic and Haiti. But overall, we're not seeing 3-4 inches up to 100 millimeters. We're seeing more like an inch or two. Still pockets of heavy rain in Puerto Rico. Again, I think we're still underdoing it some. It's interesting that it's trying to actually throw the heaviest rain over Vieques and Culebra and Fajardo on the eastern side of the island, but several more inches of rain are likely to fall in these spots. St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John look like this. Joost Van Dyke, about a ½ inch or more. Now, towards the end of this period, early next week is when the heavy rain could start to come back into the Lesser Antilles. The weekend doesn't look that bad, but because I've got the model all the way out 5 days, you see a lot more rain there. But you can see this moisture fetch with these easterlies. And eventually all of that will just drive farther and farther west across the Caribbean. But that's the first signs. Again, a lot of the central and southern Bahamas dry. Eventually, towards early next week, the opportunity for some rain comes back into the northwest Bahamas. A ton of moisture down there, friends. And again, interesting scenario in the southeast United States with a low chance for tropical development in the next 24 hours, but a lot of rain and storms as well. I appreciate you guys following us across all social media, Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook. You want to send me a picture or video, it's mymediamundo@gmail.com. Just please include your name, of course, where the picture or video is from. You want to give me a description, that always helps as well. As always, Media Mundo is sponsored by the Lean Law Firm of Central Florida, your hometown homeowners, interns, attorneys, offering free consultation and policy reviews. They will walk you through every step of the insurance claim process. If you would like to support someone who supports the channel, you want more information, go to leanonmelaw.com. As always, you have a specific question about the forecast, drop it in the comment section below. While you're down there, thank you for liking and subscribing as well. Friends, have a great rest of your Friday. I'm back soon with the latest forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas right here at Media Mundo.